Hey, K-Insider fam, welcome back. I definitely get the hype and why everyone is so hooked on this drama. As if the week-long wait wasn't enough, we had to wait 2 weeks to get to this one. Yeah, I aged about 10 years too, but was it worth the hype? In this episode, we see some major drama, especially around Hee-Joo's voice. We already know that Sion's seen the video of Hee-Joo screaming for the police car to stop, so will he confront her about it? Or will he wait for her to say something herself? When the phone rings, episode 5 begins with Sion heading to the roof because he gets a call from the kidnapper. Just before that, it seems he overhears Hee-Joo's mom talking to the hospital about not having to pay for Hee-Joo's dad's treatment anymore. But the way it was casually slipped into a phone conversation? Come on, Ajama. Why does every K-drama mom drop life-shattering secrets as if she's ordering takeout? Sion seems to be interested in looking after Hee-Joo, even to her mom. Sion wants to hear from Hee-Joo's mom about her voice. She reminds him that it was the car accident in which her brother died and her sister went deaf that she lost her voice. Of course, she wouldn't be okay. He's just surprised that it could still have an effect on her after all these years. Before moving further, please subscribe to Miss K Insider. When Sion gets on the roof, Hee-Joo, who's on the edge, panics and nearly falls backwards while trying to get off it, but he catches her. Was screaming, yes, kiss her. But does he? Nah. Instead, he blurts out how she could have been on the phone when she can't speak. In this episode, there's more than one time that Sion suspects Hee-Joo might be the one calling him, but he dismisses it every time. At this moment, Hee-Joo has a hiccup and a sound comes out of her. This is the first time Sion has even heard that much of a sound coming out of her in 20 years. He then mentions how she didn't even make a sound when she was very young and a scary-looking German shepherd nearly ran after her. Okay, Sion. First of all, not the time. Second, trauma flashbacks aren't cute. Third, maybe focus less on her inability to scream back then and more on why you keep missing the obvious emotional cues. Sion dreams about asking Hee-Joo the truth, but he thinks she's keeping this a secret from him for some important reason. More importantly, he thinks he'll have to give away some sort of secret too. The next day, Hee-Joo receives news that she's passed the interview round and is a part of the presidential team now. She tears up reading the news, but her entire team is super supportive and proud of her. A massive accomplishment for anyone, but especially for someone who's fought silently, literally and figuratively, for years. This is her moment. She wants to message Sion about it, but finds it too hard to describe what she's feeling. Instead, she accidentally sends him a heart-eye emoji with no context. Sion, bless his soul, sends a simple "congrats" back. But being the ever-supportive and low-key clueless husband, he decides to make the moment special by buying her a fancy suit to celebrate. Which is a perfect gift for a new job if only Hee-Joo's chaotic sister hadn't also decided to shop at the same store. Though they don't cross paths, Ina's hater vibes are off the charts. She's dying to throw a wrench into their marriage, and something tells me her scheming isn't over yet. It seems she might be interested in messing things up between Hee-Joo and Sion, even though it was her own decision not to marry Sion. Back in school, Ina used to be tutored by Sion in math. She never learned how to sign, but used Hee-Joo as her translator. So, Hee-Joo would write kind messages for Ina even when Sion was saying some ruthless things while teaching her. If being a bad sister were an Olympic sport, Ina would have taken gold. Hey why haven't you subscribed to Miss K Insider yet? Meanwhile, Sang-woo takes Yuri to that fancy home near the orphanage so they can find out more about what happened 20 years ago. He then tells her that he had become friends with a little cat when he spent time there. However, he ran out and never looked back when the rich kid he was kind of friends with suggested they open up the cat and dismember it one part at a time. It seems Sang-woo is trying to dig into something that happened at that villa 20 years ago, but we don't have much information just yet. I wonder if the kid and the kidnapper are the same person. Or what if Sang-woo actually ends up being the villain? It's too early to tell. After shopping that night, Hee-Joo and Sion head to dinner. She gets a message then from Sang-woo asking if they can meet so he can congratulate her. Sion tells her to say yes, but that he'll come along with her too. Again, it's the four of them having dinner together, and again Yuri doesn't know her social cues very well, but that's okay because she's adorable. At this dinner, Sangwoo and Sayeon are at each other's throats the whole time, but more importantly, Sayeon learns that Hee-Joo used to want to be a newscaster, but she says that used to be her dream, and she's happy now to be at the presidential office. Another day, another thing Sangwoo knew before Sayeon, making him more jealous of the guy. But hey, it's motivation for him to learn how to sign. Sangwoo, I know you mean well, but maybe don't broadcast someone's painful past over appetizers? And Sayeon, who's been out of the loop on Hee-Joo's life, is seething with jealousy because Sangwoo knows more about her. Here's a thought, Sayeon. Instead of glaring at Sangwoo, maybe take this as a sign to actually get to know Hee-Joo. She's not an enigma, she's a person with layers. Stop assuming and start asking. Who was driving when Sayeon got nearly hit? Seeing the tension, Hee-Joo decides to step out, plus it's time for her to make the 10 p.m. call to Sayeon. Sayeon then excuses himself and says he's going to go buy ice cream. The duo never comes back, but why can't Sangwoo and Yuri get the hint yet? While they're talking, Sayeon's about to use the crosswalk to get to the convenience store that Hee-Joo's sitting at. She sees him, but before she can run away, something even more terrifying happens. Sayeon's just about to tell her on the call what his true feelings for Hee-Joo are, when a car nearly hits him while he's crossing, and Hee-Joo screams his name, pushing him hard to the road. She saves him. This is the first time in 20 years her voice has emerged, and it's enough to save Sayeon's life. His reaction? Shock. Pure shocked. But he tells her he heard her voice, and he wants to hear it more. Okay, to be fair, anyone would be stunned. But Sayeon, maybe take a second to thank her for literally saving your life before obsessing over the fact that she spoke. Yes, it's a big deal, but priorities, man. Not going to lie, if I were her, I'd immediately have started talking. At work, Hee-Joo starts teaching Sayeon sign language. He learns how to say her name and that he's happy to meet her. At the end of the episode, Sayeon learns that the voice on the phone is the female voice of someone in her 20s. He even gets a chance to hear some of it, but will he be able to connect them to Hee-Joo? I think he might have already. On the other hand, I wonder if he thinks Ine is the one faking it. On the other hand, Hee-Joo receives a call from the kidnapper, and he tells her again that he wants to see Sayeon fail. I still have no idea what he wants to take revenge for, but we'll have to wait a little more. He says he knows Sayeon more than anyone in the world. He then says Sayeon will soon learn Hee-Joo's real identity, which has left me completely confused. What more is she hiding? Because he knows about her dad and her voice. What's this identity thing now? The episode ends with a drunk Sayeon being dropped home and falling asleep in his car after letting the driver go. When Hee-Joo arrives, in a separate taxi, of course, she notices Sayeon in the car but can't wake him up. She manages to drag him home, but ends up falling right when they enter the door. On Sayeon's phone is a message from his junior saying that the analysis is a 99.99% match. I'm guessing this is the voice analysis, and Sayeon knows it's Hee-Joo. But there are more pressing matters at hand because Hee-Joo's fallen on top of Sayeon, with their lips pressed together. They're going to wake up the next day in each other's arms on the floor, but we'll have to wait till tomorrow to find out why. Episode 5, was it worth the hype? Absolutely, it was worth every second, and moments that made me want to scream into a pillow. Hee-Joo proved once again that she's the backbone of this show. She's saving lives, dealing with chaos, and still managing to look stunning. Sayeon, on the other hand, is skating by on his looks. Dude, do better. Between the rooftop catch, the truck scene, and the accidental kiss, he had plenty of chances to redeem himself. But nope. Clueless as ever. This show is a roller coaster I never want to get off. So, what did y'all think of episode 5? Team Sayeon or team dump him and run? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe to Miss K Insider, and simp for Sayeon in the comments with me. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 6.